Hey guys, Ranger here, and welcome back to another reaction and review. And this is to episode 17 of MLP, which is The End and Friend. Okay. I just got done watching Sausage Party, and I needed something to cleanse my mind. I needed something sane and calm. I just got done watching that movie, and I'm probably going to starve to death after watching it now. But yeah, let's begin with something sane to cleanse my mind, okay? Whew. So, this is episode 17? Yep. Alright, now, all I know, I don't know anything about this episode. All I know is it's something with Rainbow Dash and Rarity, because I remember seeing a thumbnail that showed them, and I can only assume that they have an argument. It says The End and Friend. I know that they're not going to quit being friends, because that's not the route that the show's going to go. So let's begin and see what develops. Starting the video in 3, 2... Still checking to make sure I'm recording. Okay, good, let's go. Starting the video in 3, 2, 1, click.
Oh! Rarity! Just the pony I'm looking for. Can you come to Twilight's class with me? It won't take long.
Oh, I'd love to help, but I have to meet Rainbow Dash for our day of fun together.
Twilight wants to use you as an example for the students.
Your example is here!
Alright, awesome.
Oh!
Huh?
I thought I was the example.
You both are.
Oh boy.
Because together you perfectly demonstrate my lesson on compromise and friendship.
Oh boy.
Rainbow Dash and Rarity have very different interests that keep them busy. But being friends is so important to them, they always manage to make time for each other.
Our day of fun was hard to plan, what with Rainbow Dash's extremely time-consuming and erratically scheduled Wonderbolts practice.
And Rarity's weird fashion seasons. She's working on her winter collection, and it's not even summer yet. But you still found time to be together, and that's what counts.
And
See,
this
class?
is
These
going to
ponies are
backfire.
models of true friendship in action.
Backfire.
Thanks for stopping by. Enjoy your day of fun. Oh, what amazing stuff are you gonna do together? Shoe shopping races.
Dress shopping.
Fly shopping. Oh, come on. I even said shopping that time.
Perfect. We'll go shopping first.
But I brought stuff for Bug Bugs.
Are we supposed to be learning something here? Because this doesn't sound like compromising at all.
You guys have nothing in common. How can you be friends?
Okay, there is something that I want to bring up here while the intro plays. Legit, there are times whenever two people who don't really have anything in common can't really get along. They don't seem to have very much in common. They can get along. Other times, however, you kind of have to have. Other times, you have to have something in common with somebody to get along with them. That's one of the reasons why that my best friend and I are so close, is because there's a lot of things about us that is similar. Rainbow
Even
and
though
Rarity
Rainbow
have an
Dash
interesting
and Rarity
dynamic,
enjoy
which I
doing
will
different
discuss later.
There are plenty of reasons why they're friends. Like what?
Yeah, I was
We've
wondering that
always
myself.
been friends. Always?
Not always.
Well, no, not always, but for like a super long time.
And we know all the same ponies.
8 years.
Is that it?
There was that time during the Cloudsdale Best Young Flyer
boy.
competition when I totally saved Rarity's life.
Yeah, you did.
And I once proved Rainbow Dash's innocence to her beloved Wonderbolts when she was being framed for a mysterious incident.
Cool.
Interesting.
What else?
That's all we got.
Look, it may seem like Rarity and Rainbow Dash don't have that much in common when you try to put it into words, but sometimes friendships can't be explained. You
Exactly.
just have to see them in action to understand.
Oh no.
Actually, that's a great idea.
No, that's a terrible idea. Oh great! Let's make
Go about your
guinea
day of
pigs.
fun as you normally would.
This
You
is like a
ain't
reality
over
show,
here.
isn't it?
Game on!
This is a reality show. Oh, she's cute. He's also cute. I
Rarity!
wonder, is that?
You're supposed to be holding your bucket!
Huh? Oh, sorry, darling. Wearing this drab jersey gave me an idea for a buckball-inspired line of athleisure wear that would allow for maximum
Nice.
flexibility and style.
Nice.
And I'm ready now.
Good, because this time, I'm gonna try something new and super intense.
I love her design. Is that like bulk biceps sister or mom?
Rarity? Are you even paying attention?
What? Oh, I mean, of course. I held my bucket and everything.
But you have to catch the ball.
Really? Well, that sounds dangerous.
Oh,
I
forget
was
it.
getting ready
She's
to do
never
that.
gonna understand the point of this game. Football time is over.
Those are designs.
Finally.
See? They did something Rainbow Dash likes, so now it's time for something Rarity likes. Compromise.
Should I get my 44 again?
I'm genuinely not sure. Are they too in style?
Those boop.
Isn't that what you want them to be?
Yes, but they should be ahead of the curve. If they're in fashion right now, then they're practically already out.
Really?
That doesn't make any sense.
Perhaps I should get the stilettos instead. What do you think?
Unless you like tripping with every step, heels on a horse are pretty useless.
Oh, contrary. They are perfect in a multitude of situations.
Okay.
Formal functions, afternoon tea,
First
evening
time.
teas, high tea, tea by the sea, royal tea.
Can they clean up glitter? Ew, it's on my hooves.
That's adorable.
Are we
That's
done
the
yet?
first time Rainbow's ever said
Ah,
heels on a
this
horse.
is so
Call them horses.
boring. Rainbow Dash and Rarity are just, showcasing an aspect of friendship called banter.
It's also like in a relationship, the guy's waiting for the chick to
It's all in good
change her
fun.
clothes, pick an outfit, and you know the cliche thing where the guy's just sitting over in the corner waiting
Collecting
for it out of
gemstones
his
is my
skull.
favorite.
Finally, something we can agree on. Treasure hunting. See every creature? That didn't take long.
Can I
Now we're
question,
having a
is
great
it
time
safe to
together.
bring students inside of a cave system that may or may not
Perfect
collapse?
for the emerald-encrusted romper I've been working on.
Cool. Now what would be even cooler is if we could find a treasure chamber or something. Now, if I were a secret door, where would I be?
Rainbow?
Rainbow Dash, could you please refrain from all of that racket? It's muddying my concentration.
It's also dangerous.
Look, a lever!
Let's not leave her.
It's stuck. Come help me, Rarity.
Just a moment.
Not a lever.
You ruined my gems! Yeah, well, you ruined my treasure hunt!
Oh, this wasn't about treasure. It was about finding gemstones for my winter collection.
Who cares about clothes? We're supposed to be on an adventure together! Uh-oh.
That is it. This day of fun is officially over.
Fine by me! Maybe I can spend some time doing something I actually like now! Surely you don't mean that. You're just having a little disagreement.
Twilight.
Sometimes that happens between pals. But no matter what, they can always get past the problem and stay good friends. I don't think we can. You don't care about any of the things I like. It's always about you and your boring fashions.
Oh, please! You don't even give my interests a chance! You have absolutely no respect for the finer things! No respect, I tell you!
I guess we're just not friends anymore!
Oh!
Oof.
And then there was the time Rainbow Dash called my Cloudsdale Couture Boutique idea impractical! Imagine that! Just because I needed Twilight to perform the butterfly wing spell on me whenever I wanted to deliver
Starlight,
merchandise.
right?
And I told her 1,000 times, Pegasus
They're in the
don't
same
even
room,
want
aren't they?
restrictive heavy dresses. We need to be able to fly. Duh.
They're in the same room and Starlight's in the
Not
middle.
to mention the day I was wearing a really gorgeous hat, and Rainbow Dash didn't even notice.
The Wonderbolt.
They're in the same room, sitting across from each other, and Starlight's sitting in the middle.
Every pony's view.
Enough!
I was
Guidance
kinda right.
counseling is for talking out your problems, not telling me everything that's ever happened in the history of Equestria. But I've learned sometimes talking isn't enough. You need to put yourselves in one another's shoes.
Oh my gosh, are you gonna switch their cutie marks again?
No way am I
Or
wearing this.
are you gonna switch their cutie marks?
What I'm
Like you do with Luna and
saying
Celestia?
is we need a way to help you to reconnect. Follow me.
The library? And this helps us how?
You both love books. Rainbow Dash never stops talking about daring do adventures, and you're a huge fan of Shadow Spade mysteries.
Your point?
The perfect way for you two to reconnect as friends is to read each other's favorite book. I'll read them too. Then we'll all discuss afterward. It'll be a good friends
How
book
about we
club,
just put them
okay?
in the book?
I'll bring snacks.
Fine, if you insist.
Great!
It won't work,
We're
will it?
all here. To start, why don't you two
Fly,
share
run,
one
Bonbon.
thing you liked about each other's books?
Really?
Okay, I'll go first.
Dylan?
I really enjoyed the part in Daring Do and the Razor of Dreams when Daring used a vicious crocodile as a raft, and then...
Please.
What's so funny?
Oh, sorry. It's just that I find those action sequences so ridiculously over the top.
But they're real. You even met Daring Do.
Yes, but the book's descriptions just drag on. And what about all those silly, unpronounceable names? Dr. Whoosy, what's it, Caballero.
Cabaleron! Just like it looks! How hard is that?
A tea? Any pony?
This is
You
like
prefer
putting
salad?
two critics
Or we could
together.
go over some nice, friendly talking points.
Seriously? Don't even get me started on those clothing descriptions in Shadow Spade. What a yawn fest!
But the outfit descriptions are an integral part of the plot of The Cult in Crimson, a Shadow
Really?
Spade mystery.
This is like two critics together.
You see, if you didn't know that Sir Fluffingsworth von Radishfield wears only silk double-breasted waistcoats, you'd never deduce that he, in fact, was a culprit.
Wait, he was?
You didn't even read it!
I can see I'm gonna need reinforcements.
Not my fault it's so boring it put me to sleep.
If you can't be bothered to read the thing I like, that just further illustrates the point that we have nothing in common anymore!
At least we agree on that. From now on, I'm only hanging out with ponies who get me.
Your drama can wait. Twilight needs help. Now!
This is set up. This is just a
Any
bruise.
luck?
No, it's gone.
Yeah, she's acting.
What's gone? The Amulet of Aurora.
One of the magical items you've been keeping for Princess Celestia?
That amulet can reverse the tides and summon tsunamis. If it falls into the
What?
wrong hooves, Equestria will be in grave danger. Don't worry, Twilight.
You're acting.
I know tons about searching for lost treasure.
And if I follow the culprit's
Yep.
clues, I'm certain
They're
I can
setting
find
up
who
an
took your
actual
amulet.
gimmick that kind of blends both worlds together.
Thank you.
So they can work
I'll
together.
feel so much better knowing you two are looking for it. Together.
You're setting up.
While we work on a locator spell. It's the perfect solution.
Uh-huh. Yep. It's a gimmick.
There appeared to be no signs of damage to the surrounding artifacts, suggesting the thief did not leave in a hurry.
Rarity! Your boots are leaving sparkles all over the
That
floor.
wasn't rarities.
That's not from my boots. Mine are magenta, not blue. See? I mean, really. Turns out these boots were not made for trotting, as advertised.
How did they leave
Where are you going?
an arch? How did they do
We
that?
promised Twilight we'd work together.
You're working together.
Don't you see? The Amulet of Aurora is made out of azurantium.
What?
Azurantium? You know, the same metal that the Amulet of Atonement from Daring Do Book 4 is made from. It always leaves sparkles wherever it goes. Just like this, remember? It's from the book you just read.
She didn't read it.
That book, yes.
She didn't
the one
read it.
I just read.
Seriously? After giving me all that grief, you didn't read mine either? Oopsie.
Hypocrite.
As soon as we find this amulet, we are done with each other. Fine by me!
And now Rarity seeing she's a hypocrite.
Oh, Rainbow Dash! Slow down! You're flying past important clues! Look, it's a print, but definitely not a hoof. Are those
It's a
claw
claw.
marks?
Who cares? I
Spike?
found a bigger clue.
Okay. Are we in
I
Everfree
hope you
Forest?
don't expect me to wade through that.
Got a better idea? How deep? Deep.
Nah, it's too deep. We'll get stuck.
Ooh, clever. What Daring Do book did you get that from?
Actually, I learned it at Scootaloo's Philly Guides camp.
Well, at least
That's
you
adorable.
can fly across.
Whoa!
What?
Too dangerous.
One of those geysers burns off my wing feathers, I'll be out of the Wonderbolt for weeks. I could try and slingshot my way through, but I need 2 perfectly placed trees, some stretchy rope, and a pith helmet. Too bad we can't do what Daring Do did in Book 4 and find a crocodile for a raft.
Ta-da!
Rainbow.
The SS Crocodile at your service.
Wow, nice detail on that thing.
That is awesome! I mean, it's alright, I guess. How did you know how to do that?
We may have been friends for a super long time, but you don't know everything about me yet.
That's also honestly something true, too. That's awesome. Rainbow's a motorboat. That's adorable. He's like a
The
hummingbird.
treasure trail.
It's gone! How are we supposed to find the Amulet of Aurora now?
Whoa! Okay.
Sorry,
What?
did you say?
Okay, I thought that was my audio.
I think it's a buffergrin. They have really sensitive ears. Did you happen to see any creature with a sparkly thingy go this way?
Saw it.
Oh, I have really bad breath.
Hold that thought. His breath smells so bad I can't think. But we can't hear him from back here. Now what?
Aha! I think I have the perfect solution. An old unicorn beauty trick. That is, if you can somehow procure us a tiny bit of cloud.
Now that I can do.
Really?
It's adorable. Excuse me, kind sir. I have a special treat for you in exchange for your information.
Toothpaste.
What's that?
It is a magical unicorn delicacy called effervescence. Very now, very chic.
Oh!
Sorry. Enjoy.
My mouth. Fresh and minty.
Good. Now, which way did the sparkly thing go?
Up there.
for? Go on! Fly up there and get that amulet!
We're doing this together, remember?
But how can we...
Okay.
Sorry, but I wasn't leaving you behind in that swamp.
Thank you.
Admirable. Very admirable. Wait! That...
Maybe the key to unlocking this thing is in these inscriptions.
Or perhaps the key is right here.
Under the mat.
I couldn't decide between the boots and the stilettos, so I got both.
You just picked the lock!
High heels can do that?
And you called them useless.
I shouldn't have said that. Or made fun of the other stuff you like to
I
do.
need that in Skyrim.
But it's actually sorta neat.
I owe you an apology, too. Buckball may not be my
Okay,
thing,
Fallout,
but
actually.
it's something you enjoy, and you're very good at it. I never should have treated your interests like they were worth less than mine.
So, does this mean we're still friends?
I would very much like that.
Aww.
Now let's go find that out.
Now go find out that you've been tricked the whole time. Because that looks like, the
Wait, that tunnel leads to
icon.
the school? A secret passage! Awesome!
Who had that built there?
Sparky Wacky! You
Ha!
stole the amulet of Aurora? Not exactly.
They all did.
You mean this was a setup to make us get along?
Sorry to interfere, but you both...
Really needed it.
So, even though you don't like any of the same stuff, you two are friends again?
Yeah.
Always. I think we just needed a teensy reminder.
Yeah, we don't have to love the exact same things to have fun together. I mean, imagine if we did. How boring would that be?
When we give each other a chance to share the different things we enjoy, it can be surprisingly wonderful. Oh, too bad we wasted our day of fun.
We still have a little time left.
Did you have
wanna
fun doing
go
what
hit
you
the
just did?
shops? I could actually use your help picking out some new buckball gear.
Do I? But only if you help me choose some buckball fan attire, so I can cheer for my favorite player at the drop of a fabulous hat.
Yeah! Let's go already!
I absolutely know.
Rainbow Dash always dresses in style.
Good friends always work through their differences.
Even if it takes a little help.
That's cute. Alright. I really did enjoy this episode. It was a very cute episode. And actually really understandable and very much relatable. The concept of, you kind of compare, in a way, well, okay, in a way you could compare that saying about relationships about opposites attract to this, in a way. But it's not always true. The fact is, yes, oftentimes, quite often actually, I mean, more often than you would think, two people who are friends can have differences, obviously. I mean, they can have differences in opinion on things, and basically they differ on some things, and they feel differently about one thing. One might not like something the other does, and vice versa. But the thing about a friendship is, you know, you respect that the other person likes that, and you may or may not be willing to try it yourself. You may try it, you may not have any interest in it, but you're still there to support the other in what they do. And this is a really good, to me personally, this is a really good moral and lesson that friends don't always have to have 100% everything in common to get along. There will be times, even if it seems like 90% of the time you have something in common, there will still be that other 10% of the time whenever you will find out that you don't exactly see, that you have a different opinion, that you have a difference in opinion on something. You may not see eye to eye on something. Now, this is really true because I've said before that don't let a difference in opinion on something ruin a great friendship. Don't do it. That's a belief that I have. But what I was going to say prior is that Rainbow and Rarity have an interesting dynamic. And this personally to me is one of those moments where shows shows the vast dynamic of every single character in the show. Every single one of the characters, every single one of the main six, and honestly, that's one of the things that first attracted me to the show, all the way back in season one, uh, with 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 Look Before You Sleep, is that every single character is different. These characters are not copy and paste characters of each other. They're not. They each have different hobbies, different things that they love doing. They're so different from each other, yet they're friends. And I have to say that one of my best friends and I, we have quite a bit in common. And it's always awesome whenever we find out that our minds are in sync with something, that we have a similar thought process. And I love it whenever that happens. And I know that there are some things that we may not see the exact same viewpoint on, and there will be times whenever that happens. But I don't want that to drive a wedge between us, because there's too much greatness between us, and I don't want to lose a great friend. And so I'm just gonna say, heck with it, ignore it, forget it. I don't care if you have a different view, just never discuss it, never bring it up. It's fine, no big deal. The point is to focus on the good. Focus on that connection that you have. And sometimes it works with different people, though. Sometimes, in order for someone to be friends with somebody else, they have to have things in common with them. Other times, you can have two people who are as different as day and night, and they're friends. And it's a very interesting thing whenever that happens. And I can kind of relate to this. I really can relate to this, because a couple of the people that I work with, I'd like to be able to say I consider them friends. I don't know if they consider me friends or not, but in a way, I mean, there's some things that we have in common. Other things, we are so different from each other. But there's still that open communication there. And we know that we're different, but we don't aggravate each other about it. And we know that there's that difference, but we're still cool. We're still good. And with with Rainbow and Rarity, these characters are so different from each other. Rarity is about fashion. She's the fashionista. And Rainbow is energetic. She's the adventurer. She's the risk taker. And she likes action. She doesn't like boring things. And she and Rarity have a different viewpoint whenever it comes to things like that. And there was that moment whenever they kind of began to belittle and make fun of the other, and talk down to the other about how they didn't feel about their interests the same way. But the thing, of course, is they learned that even if you don't feel the same way about something that your friend has an interest in, the point is, support them. I mean, they enjoy it and they're happy. And so they learned, they're happy and they're able to still to share that laughter and still be friends. And yeah, the dynamic between Rainbow and Rarity is very different. They're two completely different characters from two completely different worlds. But they're still friends. And again, I love how that is. I love how that is. It's realistic. Because honestly, right now, there are many of us that can say that we have a best friend that we're different as night and day, but we still get along. There's still that connection there. We still get along. I mean, we can still talk, get along, talk about different things, and just have fun together. And that's the important thing. I mean, you don't have to have 100% everything in common with somebody. It is fun whenever you do have things in common with somebody, and like with my best friend and I love it. But there are some things, like I said, I know that we're going to see differently, and I know there's going to be things we're going to find out that that we see differently on. But I do not want that to get between us. I'm not the kind of I don't want to be the kind of person to let something so pointless, so meaningless, so trivial stand between two people who are great friends. I don't want that to happen. And so that's something that Rarity and Rainbow, and of course, you're going to have arguments. I mean, you can't have a friendship. You're going to have arguments. And the key, of course, is you work through that. You work through that, you put aside your differences, you agree to meet in the middle, stand a neutral ground, and just agree. Let bygones be bygones. Put the past behind you because the past is the past. Focus on the present, focus on the future, and what you're going to make of it together. And focus on that, because is your friendship worth throwing away just for something so mindlessly trivial? No, it's not. And I love the fact that they really touched upon that here. And yeah, Rainbow and Rarity, they were calling it quits at one point. But they realized, you know what, we can still work together. We still make great friends. We can still work together and have fun. We still get along. And they realize that they don't have to completely 100% agree with everything. That they still work together and they still have fun. And they're back friend. They're back friends again. And this moment helped them as well. I think it really helped them to grow stronger. And it helped them to become better friends and understand each other a little more. And every single character is from a different walk of life. Every single character is so different from each other. But like I said, that's where it kind of fits in because they're all such great friends. And you're going to have moments whenever they bicker and everything, and that's natural. That's natural because you're never going to have a friendship or a relationship that is completely perfect. You never argue. With your parents, grandparents, there's going to be moments whenever there's going to be some mixed feelings. But of course, the thing is, you still love them. You still love your family. You still love your friends. And don't let something so stupid stand in the way of that. And because there's still too much greatness there, and that's what I totally believe in. And this is a really good episode that shows that off, about that. And like I said, you have two characters from two completely different walks of life. And I agree with what Starlight said, that sometimes you just can't explain a friendship. It's just something that is. There's not really any questioning to it, like, how is this possible? Why is it possible? It just is. There's not any other way to explain it. There's just a connection there that you can't explain with words. And this, to me personally, this was a really good episode. I really enjoy it. It was a fun episode, and it was also a really cute episode too. And it was a very interesting dynamic to see two characters from two completely different walks of life kind of blend together with that and get along. It's kind of like with Rarity and Applejack and Look Before You Sleep. Now that this was her and Rainbow's chance to kind of work through their differences, kind of challenge each other, have their friendship kind of challenged, and in the end, they grew stronger as a result. And I think this is also something as well. Sometimes you can work it out with each other. You can work it out with your friend. And this was a situation where Starlight and Twilight had to step in and say, pretty much, we need to remind you of how good, what good friends that you are. And that is true, because there are some times whenever you can't really, where you might not be able, or you're not willing to try to work out the differences, and it takes another friend to step in and say, hey, yo, stop this, break it up, your friends, make up, all right? I don't like seeing you two like this. Now make up, hug, all right? And that's basically what happened here. And so yeah, it is very much realistic, and so I really love how that they portrayed that, and I did really enjoy the episode. It was cute, fun, it was sweet, and it was very much relatable. I did really enjoy the relatability with the episode because it did fit. It was natural, and it was a very interesting setup. And for me personally, like, I really did enjoy it. Is it my favorite? Is it one of my favorite episodes in general or of the season? No, but I did really enjoy the episode because of the moral, and I thought it was a really good story. Now the moral itself, of course, could have been played with any episode, pretty much in any season. It could have, But then again, there are times whenever we see episodes, even now, that seem like they didn't really fit with the story in this particular season. I felt that way with um, the episode where Discord was jealous that nobody included him in the school of friendship, and so he acted up or acted out against Starlight. And considering Discord's advancement in character that we've seen before, that particular setup with him kind of felt like it belonged in an earlier point with that. And then the episode 28 pranks later with Rainbow Dash, considering the development that we saw with her character since, it seemed like with her pranking and everything, that kind of belonged like in season 1 or 2 with the actual setup. I'm not saying that I hated the episodes. I did still enjoy them, but again, we're still going to see episodes that aren't exactly on the same level as other episodes in that season, and they seem like they could have been placed in an earlier season and still work just fine. That kind of places it here as well. This episode with the story could have worked, but at the same time, I can honestly say that this does ring true, because even now, there are still times whenever you're still going to there are times whenever your friendship is going to be tested. And even if you pass one test and you make it through, that doesn't mean there's never going to be another situation. There are times whenever all that is going to be tested. And it's not just with your friends. There's times whenever your trust, whenever your temper is going to be tested with family, with friends, and it's just something that you kind of have to work through. That's something that you have to accept, because that's always going to be something that is going to happen. And so even with saying that this episode could have happened in an earlier part, like an earlier season, and it still play out, at the same time, I still think this is just, because I've said that before, that these characters are not perfect. They're flawed. They're just like us. Even if you think you know it all, you don't. If you think, well, I overcome this last challenge, I'm good. No, you're not. You're not. There are things that are, even if we overcome one challenge, there's going to be another challenge down the line that is going to test us. It may or may not be similar to the last one, but we're still going to get tested. That's a guarantee. And so this here, it's something like that, because they were tested. And you might would think, well, they've been friends for 8 years, or okay, sorry, for us it's been 8 years. For the characters, it's been 2 or 3 years. You might say, well, they've been friends for 2 or 3 years, so why haven't they learned? I've said this before, and I'll say it again. You're never done learning. No matter how old you get, there will never be a moment in your life, except whenever you're dead, that you're done learning. Whenever you're dead, then you're done learning. But the moment you pop into the world, into the moment that dong, your ticker stops, you're always learning. About yourself, about the world, about people. You're always learning. And so, to say, well, they shouldn't be having this problem, yeah, that doesn't work. Because people still have things like this, quarrels and things like that. And it's about, they're bumps in the road, and you have to overcome those bumps to get to the solid pavement. Everything you do, are going to be bumps in the road at some point. It's how you overcome those potholes to get to the straight road ahead that defines whether or not you're really serious about it, how much you care about it. And so, yeah, so I really enjoyed this episode, and I do think this episode really rings true in real life. And I really did love it for that story setup. It was really, really good. And, so I really enjoy it. Now, there's a couple of different things that I kind of want to set up here, discussing about differences in the episode. Rarity's outfit here early on is Rarity's getup. And she looks like she's going to go play tennis in this outfit. And that's what I honestly thought she was going to do at first. And I think it's cute how Starlight told Rarity that that Twilight needed her, and that little face that Starlight made, like, okay, I know you're gonna fall for it. And whenever I saw Rainbow there as well, I couldn't help but wonder, okay, why? What the freaking heck? Okay. I kind of wonder why the heck that she was there. Um, this was an interesting kind of setup here. I mean, just look at little Dashy just standing there, and that little face. And I can say there is an interesting setup here with Rainbow. I mean, she seems to be, and maybe it's just me, but there seems to be a bit more. Rainbow seems to be just a bit more humble now than what she used to be. I mean, in the very beginning, I mean, she's still got some self-centeredness to her, but she kind of seems more humble and more kind of relaxed a bit now than she used to be. And we also see this other character return here on the left. I remember seeing her before in one of the other episodes. I can't remember what her name was, but yeah, she gets to return. Great seeing her. And we also see one of the other characters here. Right here on the lower bottom. One of the taller characters. Here, one of the taller characters as well. And I think that's kind of interesting because, you know, just like real life, you have characters that are short and characters that are tall. And I'm wondering about this one bulk character here. I'm wondering, I mean, could this be Bulk Bicep's mother? Could this be his sister? I'm not sure. It's interesting. Brayburn is here, and again, he doesn't get to speak. I've seen people make mentions about that before. And this face of Twilight is actually comical. Pausing it at this moment. This is like the face Twilight makes whenever she reads some fan fiction. Not all, but some fan fiction. And this is also kind of the face she makes whenever she's found a good one, or she's trying to tell you, it's good. I did not have any idea that I could do that with my horn. And the concept of Rarity trying to show rainbow fashion is comical. It's a very interesting setup because Rainbow is the tomboy. She doesn't give a flip about fashion. She's not into that sort of thing. It's just not her style. She certainly doesn't know fashion like Rarity does, and I can't see. I mean, we do know that Rainbow has wore fashion before, and this girl can rock a dress too. But Rainbow is not the kind of person that would wear something as chic, as fancy as Rarity. Rainbow is totally cool, like human-wise. Rainbow would be the girl that's probably totally cool with jeans and a t-shirt. Like, that's totally fine with her. And Rainbow is the tomboy here. She's not into the kind of fashion deal, and the concept of her with heels is it's just odd. It's just kind of a little odd for me to imagine her with heels. I know she has done it before, and then the concept of Rarity, Rainbow mentioned that telling Rarity that heels on a horse is a bad idea. Yeah, this is the first time that I've ever heard one of the characters call themselves horses. They've always just said ponies. This is the first time I've ever heard one of the characters call themselves horses. Yeah. I don't know if you could consider that a meta joke or what, but it's just funny that right after Rainbow says that, Rarity follows up with the horse snort. And it's very funny to see that gimmick. And then Rainbow kind of prancing about here, trying to get the glitter off of her hooves. It was very comical and very adorable to see that. And watching Rainbow try to get this... Okay, that's actually a cute face that I just captured. That's actually cute. There's also some really comical things here. I can see Rainbow Dash right here with that hang in there cat thing. I can see that here with Rainbow. That's cute. And Rainbow believing that this is a lever. Yeah, I was just kind of wondering if Rainbow's actually going to find an actual thing, like an actual secret cave or something in there. I was actually wondering about that. And this segment, whenever Rarity and Rainbow were both chatting about each other at the same time, I was honestly expecting, like, one is on one side, one is on the other, and Starlight is right, like, she's on the upper section right between them. And I was kind of right, because it turns out they were both on the same couch. turns out I was kind of right because they're both actually in the same room and on the same couch, but Starlight was there. I actually guessed that right. And I love that bit whenever she told them, I don't need to hear about the freaking whole history of Equestria. Dang it. Shut up. I don't need to know. And the moment, honestly, that Starlight made the mention about experiencing each other's differences, I mean, pretty much walking them out in each other's shoes, my first thought, she's going to switch their cutie marks like she did Princess Luna and Princess Celestia. That's honestly what I thought was going to happen. I thought, boy, that's going to be interesting. Then I thought, no, she's going to switch their brains. She's going to switch their brains. And I love this art, honestly, I love this art on this book for Daring Do. This art for this other, shoot, I forgot what it was, this other story here. And, of course, we also see Rose Luck is sitting here looking towards Lyra and Bonbon. Lyra and Bonbon are sitting there together, which is interesting. I think it's really, this bit with Rainbow and Rarity here, chatting about the books, about the story. I said that this is exactly what happens, or a good reference to what happens whenever you put a couple of critics together. A couple of critics who disagree on something. Like, I can kind of see that in the MLP community. Two different people, and I know for a fact that I've had different viewpoints on episodes than others. I've liked episodes, others have hated, and I've disliked something in an episode that others have liked. I know that for a fact, but that's, everybody has a different viewpoint on something, and I know that not everybody is going to agree with me, and that's fine. And I know that I'm not going to agree with everybody as well, but and again, that's fine. But I try to remain open-minded about other people's beliefs, their thought process, and just the way that they look at things. And Rarity and Rainbow here, it's interesting to put these two together because they're both giving critique on each other's books. And this is kind of interesting because you have two different perspectives. And I see very much a similarity here in reviewing things, analyzing things that others would. And it's like you have two different critics. And one is reviewing something that the other likes and vice versa. And I see this as well because I've seen critics like the Nostalgia Critic and others review movies, TV shows, video games that other people have hated. And then they've hated them, and other people have liked them, and then they've liked them, but other people have hated them. And so, yeah, I see a similarity here. I mean, this is like having two different critics. I mean, and you can apply this to the MLP community, or you can apply it outside of the MLP community. Two different critics together giving critique on two different perspectives. And already saying that about the Daring Do situation with the action, that it just kind of drones on, and it's real. I mean, it's funny because, yeah, we have seen segments like that, and I'm not saying that that's bad, but it's comical because both perspectives here I can understand. I can kind of understand more Rarity's perspective I can understand both characters' perspectives here. For Rarity, she's not as into the Daring Do books as Rainbow, and Rainbow's not into the other book as Rarity is, and so both don't really get them. For Rarity, she doesn't. I mean, the action sequences might be real, but they're kind of over the top, overly, drone on for too long. And yeah, you can apply that logic as well with MLP community segments, and as well as other critics with movies and things like that, where something seems to drone on for too long. And Rainbow, she's not into the fashion concept, so this other character that wears just a particular style of clothing, and yeah, not being able to pinpoint that it was off. It's an interesting gimmick to have two different critics come together to converse about each other's books like that. But yeah, it's interesting. It's a very interesting dynamic here, and oftentimes it doesn't end well. So yeah, this was pretty much legit. But at the same time, I think it was very, very comical that this actually happened. And very interesting to see that. And I'm not in any way saying that the Brony community is like this. I mean, for the most part, I like to believe that the majority of us, we understand each other's perspectives and viewpoints, and we can agree to disagree, and be open-minded enough to see somebody else's personal viewpoints, and it can open our minds up to it as well. But I do know that there are times whenever we have seen other people bicker and argue over things like this, and not just in the MLP community. I mean, that's pretty much it. You hate on a movie that other people love, and they're gonna hate you for it, even if you didn't like it, and without taking into consideration, well, you didn't like it. I mean, you know what? So whatever. The important thing is you liked it. So what's the harm? Your segment, whenever Starlight realized I'm gonna need backup. Immediately, my first thought is she's getting Twilight involved. That was my first thought. And there's an interesting setup here that I'm kind of curious about, because, of course, we have Bonbon and Lyra sitting here together, obviously on a date, no doubt. But we have Rose Luck. We have Rose sitting here, and we notice there's no plate. Her food is being brought to her by this waiter, but there's no other pony there. But there is another plate. Of course, there's another plate over here for this other character, so I'm not sure if maybe these two characters are waiting on their dates or their friends. Not sure how that's going. But immediately, whenever Starlight showed up and said, "Twilight needs your help," I knew the moment that she did that, she got Twilight to help her, and the whole thing was a scam. I knew it. I knew it because it was just too quick. It was too sudden. I knew it was a setup. And then what kind of especially sold it was whenever Twilight was like, "It's gone." Yeah, the moment that happened, I knew, yep, she's faking. There's no way in heck that this is legit. But I really do accredit their, honestly, I really can say that I do like how that Starlight and Twilight collabed and work together to come up with a scheme that would help Rainbow and Rarity with their friendship. I really do admire that, and I love the fact that they cared enough about their friends, Starlight as well, that they wanted to try to do something to help mend that friendship and, build a bridge across that chasm. So I really do like that. And it was interesting because you had seeing Rarity and Rainbow Dash doing detective. Now, the concept of Rainbow and Rarity both working together to solve this case is an interesting dynamic because you have two different characters from two different perspectives both working together. Rainbow is also really adorable whenever she's flying around as well. Rarity was able to look at the detailed side of it and examine the case to check for any damage, any other things around it. Rainbow was turning things over, looking for clues. So it's an interesting dynamic in that Rainbow is more of the looking for things out in the open kind of detective, and Rarity's the more intricate, tiny details detective. Rainbow was able to find the little rhinestones or sparkles that was hanging around, followed them outside, and I wondered, my first thought is, why the heck were these sparkles creating an arch? Like, was that an animation error, or was that on purpose? Turns out that was actually on purpose. I'm just wondering how long do those stay there. And another interesting dynamic or setup here is the fact that Rainbow found out is Rarity gave Rainbow flack for not finishing that story. However, Rarity also realized at this point it come back and bit her on the butt, because after she gave Rainbow flack for not finishing her story, she didn't even read the Daring Do one. And here Rainbow confronted her about it. Like, you gave me all that flack for nothing whenever you didn't even read the story? And so, yeah, Rarity realized at this point she was being a hypocrite. And so, yeah, that came back and bit her on the butt. But another interesting dynamic here, of course, Rarity was able to look for the tiny details with something, such as the claws, which Rainbow looked right over. And she was able to spot that little detail. And again, they were making, like, you can imagine a spin-off series, a cop drama or detective drama with Rainbow and Rarity working together, or fan fiction. I'd love to read that, about these two working together as detectives. That would be a very interesting setup. But Rarity wonders about how to across the river, across these ponds here, Rainbow was actually able to use these cattails. Rainbow was actually smart enough. She decided to use cattails to test the depths of the water to verify that nope, can't wade across because it's too freaking deep. And she said she learned it from Scootaloo's one of those things from Scootaloo's class there, which is a very interesting thing. I mean, so there, Rainbow was able to learn that. She was able to remember that. She was able to apply that knowledge here. So again, it's a very interesting dynamic in how both have their own, and they're both unique detective skills, and both were applying those together to help them through that scenario. And I really love how that they did that. Again, Rarity builds a raft, and I love the detail in this thing. I mean, look at the detail, the boards, each individual board and everything. There's a lot of freaking detail on this thing. It's not just one bland texture. There's a lot of detail on this. I really like how that they did that. And this moment whenever Rarity says, we may have been friends for a while, but there's still some things you don't know about me. There's still some things you don't know about me, darling. That's also really true, because even if you've known a friend for a while, there are still times whenever you still find out something unique about them. And so, I mean, you can be right up front, blunt, and reveal everything about yourself, but there will be times like this, of course, where even if you're friends for a while, there's still things you learn about each other. And again, it's cool whenever you can do that, whenever there's still things that you find out about each other. That's really cool. And it's also it's also very, very realistic. And I love how Rainbow immediately she turns into a hummingbird, and she's able to use her wings as like an engine to propel this thing. I mean, Rainbow turns into a complete freaking hummingbird here, and it's adorable. It's really cute. And this frog, this guy talking low as he was, I honestly, whenever I heard that, I thought there was something wrong with the audio at that point. I did. I honestly, so help me, I thought there was something wrong with the audio, but it turns out he's just really talking really low. And honestly, I've never heard anything like that in the show before, so I would really like to know what the guy did that voiced his character, what he did in the recording studio, in the booth. Did he talk this low, or did he talk normal and they just lowered the volume during the overall editing? How did they do that? I'm really curious as to how that they did that. And this moment whenever they're trying to talk to him and his breath, like, no freaking joke, it's not people's breath, but I have encountered people like that in real life who smelled absolutely atrocious. It's like they never heard of a freaking bar of soap. I have seen people like that before, and like Rainbow and Rarity, there were times I just had to hold my breath, turn my head, and hope for some clean, fresh air at some point before I passed freaking out. I have seen people like that before in real life, and oh my gosh, it's terrible. It's cute, the little puffy cheeks with Rainbow whenever she picks Rarity up. I love how here, again, it shows the element of loyalty for Rainbow. I mean, even though she and Rarity are bickering, Rainbow's still the element of loyalty. She's still loyal to her friends, and she told Rarity, I'm not leaving you behind. I am not abandoning you. And I think that's really cute. I think I honestly think that's sweet. But honestly, the moment that I saw this door, I knew there was something up with this door, because I recognized the emblem. And this looks like an emblem that we have seen before. This emblem here I have seen before. This kind of looks like Shining Armor's emblem, but this looks like an emblem for like the Pony Sisters or something. This looks similar, and the moment that I saw that, I knew it was pertaining to the friends. I knew that it was pertaining to them in some way, because there's no friggin' way that that's going to be connected to that. That I knew there was no way that was just going to be just randomly placed. And then Rarity manages to use a freaking heal. Like, this girl, my gosh, Rarity is like the silent femme fatale. She is. I can imagine like a fic where she's like the secret assassin, and instead of those heels like that, those are blades that she has in her boot. and she just like walks up to some guy, and like suddenly click, blade comes out, and she just silently right in his side, and like shanks him right in his side. And Rarity picks this lock with this no problem, like she's done this before. Rarity, what have you been doing on the side, girl, that you're not telling us? Like I said, I need this in Skyrim. Actually, I don't really need it in Skyrim because you got the skeleton key from the Twilight. You got the skeleton key in Skyrim, but my gosh, Rarity, I need that boot in Fallout. Then that way I would not break any lockpicks. And I love this little makeup part, honestly, whenever Rainbow's like, still friends, and Rarity's like, yes. And then they hug, they're like, alright, we're good, you know, we're cool. We're cool. It's all good. It's all good, we're cool. But honestly, I have to wonder about something. Rarity and Rainbow just then find out that there's a secret passage that goes into the school. I'm wondering who built this school and why they put a secret passage there. And of course, then they find out that everybody was involved with this little gimmick. Everybody was involved with this little gimmick. But there's a couple of things that I have to question here. There's something that I have to point out. First off, you remember in the other episode, Friendship U, actually, remember in the other episode with Discord, Cozy Glow was present during one of the lectures or sermons. Sorry, one of the classes, and Cozy Glow was not present in this episode. After Friendship U, this is the next episode. Notice she's nowhere near. She's nowhere to be found. She's nowhere seen. She's not with this group of characters. It even has, I mean, it's got the Friendship 6, and it's got 3 additional characters here. 4, actually. But notice Cozy Glow is not here. She's not learning about this friendship experience. And I'm also wondering about this secret entrance, about this secret passageway. Could this be how Cozy Glow could have gotten her hooves on those secret documents and got them out of the school without any pony noticing? Could that be how Flim and Flam snuck into the school? Or even Chancellor Naysay? I don't know. It's just, I'm wondering how many other secret passageways are there in this freaking school? And again, I love this little bit at the end whenever they're just Twilight and Starlight just standing there. And of course, like Starlight said, sometimes you just need a little help. And like they're looking after them, smiling, knowing, yeah, they made up. They're happy. They're happy that they're friends. And Twilight's like, yep, they are. I love that. But yeah, I really did enjoy this episode. It was cute, it was fun, it was relatable, and I really enjoyed it. And so again, I gotta say to the writers, thank you so much for doing this episode. To everybody that worked on this episode, thank you so much for doing this episode. And also, again, thank you for the moral as well, because it is very much relatable. It is very much relatable. That being said, though, I am glad that my best friend and I, we do have a lot in common. I am glad, and like I said, even if there's some things that we're going to encounter that we don't have in common, I don't care, because I still want us to be buds, I still want us to be close, and I don't want something so stupid, something so small, insignificant, so trivial to drive a wedge between us. There's too much great stuff, so yeah, I'm not going to let something like that stand in the way of a great friendship. So, and I say that to everybody, and you know, you can't expect a perfect friendship, but be there for each other, support each other, help each other, and as long as you're willing to hang on to what you can to hang on to the friendship, hang on to it. Treat it with respect. It's like a garden. You have to tend to it and help it to grow and blossom and keep it weed-free. And as long as you tend to it, you care and nurture it. And so, yeah. But this was a very much relatable episode as well. And I'm wondering about if this has a bit of foreshadowing to some things we might learn later on. I'm curious. Because like I said, Cozy Glow was not present in this episode. We've seen her in a couple of episodes already be present, in the classes, but she was not present in that class. And she wasn't present learning those friendship lessons. And this escape route out of the school. Why is there an escape route? Why is there a secret passageway? I'm wondering about that. But again, anyway, thank you guys again for joining me. Thank you to everybody at Hasbro for doing this episode. Thank you, DHX. Thank you all so much for working on this episode. Thank you guys so much. And also thank you to everybody again for joining me. Hope you guys enjoyed. And again, hope to see you guys. Hopefully I'll see you guys in the next video that I do. Take care.